Andy and Izzy, when you were wee boys, did you get excited by buildings? Do you have memories of responding to buildings when you were dead young?
No.
Not either, no.
And did you have the creative urge, that thing that Freud describes, that desire to make stuff?
Not at an early age. In
No,
fact,
I
I
don't
decided
think so.
to be an architect just about the day before I tried to get a job.
And Andy, a serious answer to that?
Quite seriously, no. But when I was at school, I was good at drawing, and I didn't take art. I stuck with science. I decided if I was an artist, I wouldn't make as much money as I might make as an architect. That's quite true. I thought I could earn a salary while I was learning. So I became an architect rather than a...
Nothing so calculating in my case. I just decided when one day I came out of school just after I sat my higher leaving certificate, and for some reason I said I'm going to become an architect. And I didn't really know why or what. I mean, I just interested in buildings, but we didn't know how buildings are made or what an architect actually does. I just decided I was interested in that. I also did science and not art at school.
Yeah. Architecture sounded and felt like a good job. I mean, I was, what,
You must have
I
been
must have been
affected as I
15.
was by being in a place like Glasgow and being surrounded
Yeah, well, that's
by
different.
buildings all the
That's
time.
different.
That's the thing about architects. They're living in the area of their own activities. They're always surrounded by what they themselves do.
That's right. If we hadn't been in Glasgow, we might never have been architects the way we are now. If we'd been born in some wee village out in Ayrshire. I mean, we lived in a town that was a great town.
And what was it about Glasgow that made it a great town, as a great piece of urbanism or whatever? What excited you about it?
Well, like one is made of stone, the consistency of the whole system, and a very systematic underlying way of making a city that Glasgow represents. It's not the only way to make a city, but it's a very particular model.
Victorian architects had actually a very clear idea in their mind about how a town was constructed. I think we didn't realise this till much later.
When you first met, how did you suss each other out? How did you connect?
Well, again, you've got to ask how anybody does it. I mean, how do you meet your girlfriend or your wife?
I was going to say it was love at first sight.
Exactly. Wasn't quite as romantic as that.
recognised each other.
But you recognise the other person's interests and mutuality.
And we were positively interested, where a lot of our colleagues, it was just a job for them. Anyway, we recognised each other, and we talked and met, and we didn't get much time for anything but work. I mean, you worked till 5 o'clock, and then you went up to the school, and you worked 4 or 5 days a week, and then you designed your schoolwork at the weekend.
When you started designing buildings together, you must have each noticed that the other had some weeknesses. So could you say what Izzy's architectural weaknesses, and could you say what his is?
I can't say I've
We
ever
never
noticed
talk about
Izzy
it.
had any
I never
weaknesses.
noticed Andy had any weaknesses.
Well, you could put that in a more polite way. How did you complement each other as architects?
I think you can't describe that, but it's a kind of pragmatic issue. I mean, it just works out that way. You fill the gaps in each other's experience.
I'll tell them about Hull. We once had to sit and wait to go in to see the Vice-Chancellor in Hull, tell them about the progress of our job. And at that time we were designing a school in Pollock, and we'd been talking about it. And we were both sitting around waiting on this man seeing us. And there were 2 other architects in the waiting room. And Izzy and I started drawing this spontaneously. Our hands crossed on the blackboard as we drew bits of it while we were designing. And these other architects were actually quite well known. They were, I think, slightly awed by the fact we seemed to have this double act down to a T.